Welcome to the main panel for Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. Today we have our expert panelists, Josh Reason, Kate Buckley, Jason Sheppard, and Roman Edmond. They're joining us to review your domains, but not just that, but to give a general overview of what's going on in the industry, give their feedback on strategies and sales and all that stuff. As you probably realize, it's a pretty diverse group here. And I did that for a reason. So, we'll have different perspectives. And on that note, I will let everybody introduce themselves. So I guess, Kate, you can go ahead first. Ladies first. Go for it.
Hi everyone. Thanks for having me on. Great to be in such good company on this panel. So Arif, is this where I just say hi, or is this where I give a little background?
Hi, give a little bit of background. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. A little background is good. Like we know, well, I think we all know who you are. You had a very successful sale this week, I think it was. But you have a major brokerage in the industry. For those of you who don't know, I'll let you. It's Buckley Media, correct?
Yes, I'm Kate Buckley. My company is Buckley Media, and I've been in the domain space forever. I'm going to date myself here, since 1998. I was working with the Costello brothers on their geo portfolio and helping them launch those brands and grow and monetize them. Then I launched Buckley Media in 2013 when I sold LagunaBeach.com for the Costello brothers for $600,000. And a light bulb went off, and I didn't even really know that being a domain broker was a thing. And when I did that, I was like, ooh, I think I just started a business. And then that company actually hired me back on. I sold it with a business plan and marketing blueprint that I'd created. So they hired me back on to serve as interim CEO and sort of quarterback all the initiatives that I'd created for them. So I didn't really actually start brokering again for a number of years after that, because I was so busy with the company and some real estate projects. And then, it's just been growing from there. And, as you mentioned, it's been a great year. It's been a great week. And we also are so happy to be expanding the team and welcoming people like Tess Diaz and Tim Hargis to the team. And it's really fun. I'm super grateful.
Well, great. We all heard about your sale last week. We'll get into that shortly, I think. Next up, we have Roman. Roman, go for it. Tell us about yourself a bit.
Hey guys, my name is Roman Edmond. I've been in the domain industry since about 2011. I just actually went back to my Gmail account and I noticed that I purchased a domain name called bananacream.net for $1.40. That was my first domain name. And then surprisingly enough, in 3 months, someone sent an email inbound saying, hey, I have a client that wants to purchase that for $500. And I said, okay. And I sold it, and I think I was hooked ever since. Since that time, I've had, I guess, up to 10,000 domain names for a while. Then I sold some of that portfolio. Then I delved into cryptocurrency. And then right now I do a lot of fantasy sports, as well as I do consulting, personal development work. And then this year I noticed that, hey, we're at home and it makes sense that it's going to be more of a digital world. So I delved into more, and I made an ardent effort to accumulate as many domains as possible. So there's different ways to kind of spin this whole domain investing. Some people like to flip it like I was doing before. And now I'm in a better position, and now I see the value. And so I just want to accumulate and hold and focus on a long-term perspective. And so I'm very happy to join you guys and provide some insight as best as I can. Thank you.
Thanks, Roman. Jason, you're up next.
Sorry, I get unmuted there. Yeah, so my name is Jason Shepard. I'm a domain investor, individual investor. I've been doing it for about 3.5 years now, although I sold my first domains in the early 2000s. I just didn't have the good sense to stick with it then. It was just kind of a one-off. I had some names that I owned related to horses, which was something I was into at the time. And somebody approached me about buying them, and kick myself daily about not just sticking with it and saying, hey, light bulb, like Roman just said happened with him. But as I've just recently joined with the DNAcademy, I'm going to be co-instructing the upcoming Accelerator, and I checked on the date. It's going to sign-ups for it start on January 1st, and I think it's going to kick off on February 1st. So it'll be a month of sign-ups, and then we'll go with that. And I was happy to participate in the first in batch 1 of the Accelerator, and just thrilled when Mike Zeiger asked me to help him co-instruct the next one. So very pleased about that and looking forward to it. And that's about it for me right now.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that. And yeah, good luck with the Accelerator. Josh, you off buying something else again?
So I'll keep it fairly short. My name is Josh Reason. I've been in the industry for not too long, maybe like 5 years or so. I have an investment portfolio. I've been full-time for, well, not that long actually, about 9 months. So it's been a crazy year for me. And I'm also founder of DNWE.com, which is also happens to be about 9 months old. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and I think that's going pretty well. You got some stuff we might talk about at the end of the show, I think. I'll try and get that out of you. Yeah, so just for those of you wondering, yeah, it's a
depends how many participants are left by the end. We need a certain amount, otherwise
secret stuff. All right, fair enough. We'll see what we can drag out of you. So you probably all know I got Kate here because she's got a great perspective on sales overall and the high level sort of domains. Might not be what all the ones are here today, but I got her here more for a perspective on sales and her approach to sort of communicating with end users and stuff like that. But the main thing that really sparked my interest was the big sale last week of, was it last week or this week, or I don't know what we're calling it, but recently of Engaged, and the number's public, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And so on that note, on behalf of the entire domain community, thank you for the comp. Thank you for giving us a comp to use. Those high level comps, that's what we need out in the world, get those numbers out there, and it's they help, they really do. And for those of you with Roman, I think many of you who are on the socials know Roman. He was actually featured on Paige Howe's conference, the domain show, a few months ago. And he's regular on the socials. And it's funny because sometimes he's there in the background, and sometimes like somebody will ask a question, and oftentimes Roman will come up with like a really quirky or unusual way to get around something to get to the solution. And Roman, that's why you're here today, because I really appreciate your creativity in finding out solutions on getting to people you want to contact and stuff like that. And Jason, he's a fellow DJ. I used to DJ. I used to have a big DJ website. And so with Jason, I think we've started around the same time domaining, and he's obviously got a lot more domains than I do, I think, at this point. But he's got 2 portfolios, does his own and a partner one. But so I see him as more of whatever I'm at, sort of. And you all know Josh, but when he says something, listen to what this guy says. We're 2020. At the end of 2020, there's probably very, very few people in this industry who have as broad an awareness of what's going on, of what's worth what, than Josh. I mean, you follow his podcasts. Now it's once a week. I liked it when it was once a day. We got to get all the sales, but he's got kids and stuff. So definitely listen to what Josh has to say, because he's got his fingers everywhere, and he's got his knowledge on a lot of everything in this industry. So on that note, I'll open it up to all of you. What's going on? Kate, how was your week? Anything interesting happen?
Yeah, it's been an amazing 7 days. Like it's been kind of silly. So, and not just on the domain front, on a personal front, I'm in escrow right now on 2 different properties. Todd and I, my fiance, for those of you who haven't met him either virtually or in person. We had an accepted offer on a home in Laguna that we're super, super, super excited about, especially now that we're both working from home full time. So it's going to be a better setup for us. And then I accepted an offer on an investment property that I have that I've been looking to divest. And then, as you mentioned, we closed the sale of engage.com, and I was able to report that sale. So, and I just want to say a word about that. You know, Arif, you mentioned thanks for the comp. We need all the, you know, the publicly reported sales figures that we have. I couldn't agree more. In fact, I see that Braden's on here. He and I have had a number of conversations about that and are very much aligned in our thinking there. I fight very hard to report my sales. I don't always succeed, of course. But I think it's really important. I think the more transparency we can have as an industry, it not only helps our sales and helps aid in liquidity solutions, but it also helps with PR. It's just a smart thing to do all the way around. I understand it's not always possible, but I would encourage domain investors out there and brokers. We have a responsibility as well to fight to report names. I would encourage us all to keep at it.
What about the rest of you? You guys have any action in the domain industry this week or in the last month or two?
Well, I had a sale, and I hesitate to mention it because the last time I mentioned a similar sale, it caused a bit of a run on a certain TLD. I sold people.vc this past week for $5,000.
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah, well, it's the same thing, right? For those who don't know, you had two other ones earlier on this year in 24 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I was sitting there watching the clock all day waiting for the second one to roll in after this latest. Didn't happen, so they don't come in pairs all the time. Yeah. But yeah, and actually this one, this was a Dan sale. I had changed everything from like a $49.99 bin to 5,000 minimum, $88.88. It'd been a slow couple months. I had a $5,000 offer come in, and I just said, sure, I'll just take it. I didn't want to get into the possibility of them backing away if I countered. And so it took a little while, and you never know the situation of the buyer, especially on Dan when you're just, the interaction is somewhat limited. And so it took a few days, and I was talking to the Dan reps, and eventually he said, the guy hadn't responded a couple of days. So I was like, okay, we'll just put it back on the market. This deal's done. It's over. Well, within 24 hours of them listing it again, I got a notification from him, said, the guy came back. He's got the money now. Do you still want to sell it for that? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Let's make it happen. And I got paid out yesterday. So
good job. Yeah. And just so you know, the first time I sold 2 4-figure domains in the same day was also the same day my condo flooded. So, sometimes the two domains in a day is not always lucky. What about Josh, Roman? You guys have any action going on last little while?
For me, not so much. I've had some prospective buyers, offer a specific price, then bailed out. I've sold a couple of domain names, but for under, 1K or what have you. And, a couple of things on the pipeline, but nothing that I need to have real conversation with you guys at this point.
No, it's those, smaller amounts at higher volumes are always good. It's like.
No, for sure. What I have noticed, though, it seems to me, at least for my portfolio, there's a lot more traction and inquiries and that type of, transactional activities over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So hopefully that might be the whole Christmas and holiday push towards the end of the year. Let's cross the fingers.
I saw a little push right after the American elections finished. So we're not going to talk politics here, but I think everybody was happy it was finished, whatever side they were on, and people were starting to ready to move on. So yeah, I saw the same pattern too.
Good.
What about you, Josh?
Well, I haven't had any 800K sales in the last week or so, but I did have a $21,000 sale for community.io yesterday.
Nice. Congratulations.
So yeah, that was a good sale.
Any details on that? Or
Yeah, I paid $2,500 for it a while ago. Maybe like, when I say a while ago, I'm joking. Maybe like 3 months ago, and I bought it directly from the registry. So I bought it from Aphelios.
oh,
Yeah, so it was reserved forever before then, so it was never available before then. So I obviously got a really good deal. So yeah, I mean, I think it's worth more. I think community.io is probably more like a 50K name. But you know, when you get a good offer like that so quickly,
after 3 months, yeah.
It's good to take profits. It's good to take profits for me because I've done a lot of buying this year. So
Yeah. So I was asking in the chat, people can ask things in the chat. Yeah, the name was community.io. Did you mention where you sold it?
it was an inquiry through, I think it came from either Uniregistry or FD. I'm not sure. Like an inbound lead. So there wasn't any commission. I closed the deal via Dan with lead import.
Okay. Well, congrats. Yeah, it's a nice quick flip there. All right. Well, on that note, I missed something at the start that I was going to say. Take 1 second and say, for those of you, especially those of you now watching the first time we have this up on YouTube, you can join us by subscribing to the domainsocial.com. So domain social, domain panel, they're the same thing. Well, technically different. The social, everybody's together on the same screen. The panels are more specialists talking their thing, which is what we have today. But you can subscribe to the domainsocial.com and you will get, a newsletter for both, which includes the Zoom links for both. And, you could join us on social media at domainsocial.com. All that is right there. So on that note, we will get right to portfolio number 1 because I have a lot of portfolios and we'll probably stop and chat a little bit in between, but we're a little bit tight for time. So we will get on that right away. And the first portfolio is Green Masks, Medicine Passport, greenmasks.com, they're all .coms, medicinepassport.com, esportawards.com, and remotemaestro.com. So we'll get to the panelists and see what they think about those domains. Any thoughts?
Yeah, this is Roman.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty decent portfolio. Basic 1K, 2K per domain. Green Mask, pretty easy to remember. Green and Mask, those are two pretty decent keywords. Esports Awards, I like. It would have been way much preferable if it was esports with an S.
Like
awards.
I said at first, right?
That's a big difference. That would be a big difference for sure. Remote Maestro, I think it's cute having the English and the Spanish, so that actually translates to like remote teacher. Maestro. There's various substitutes, things of that nature. I think if in fact you find the right buyer, you can sell it for like a K, 1,500. So I mean, I'd probably keep it, renew it for a year or so. Those type of domains. I don't think they're any heavy hitters, but definitely something that's pretty decent in a collection for sure. That's my take.
Great, thanks, Josh. Any thoughts? I know you've commented on esport domains before.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll be honest. These are the kind of names that are dropping and going through GoDaddy auctions and the expiry stream every day, right? Thousands of them. Now, obviously, because there are so many of them, and because there are thousands of these type of names that are going through every single day, naturally, the wholesale value of these names is very, very low. You pick them up and you get them for a discount back order, or you get them at a closeout or whatnot. But that doesn't mean to say that they don't have value, because they do still have value at retail. And the kind of names that you like Roman said, you can sell it for like $1,000 to $2,000, maybe even more for some of them. Like I don't know, greenmasks.com. I could see that selling for, you know, 3K, without too much of an issue. It's essentially just Green being the brand, right? And then selling masks, which I can definitely see businesses doing that. Medicine Passport is okay as well. You know, there could easily be a product that is called that at some point, priced under 5K. I could see a name like that selling, but low, very, very, very low wholesale price, like $50, that kind of range. And then Esport Awards is I'm not a fan of it because it's missing the S. It needs to have the S, in my point of view. Like without the S, it's secondary to, you're always kind of playing second fiddle. And you know, if I was helping someone buy a domain, I would tell them not to buy that name because it's not quite right. That doesn't mean to say it can't sell for like $1,000, $1,500, because it can. Right? There's plenty of sales that you see the singular for esport and sport. It's just far less desirable. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then finally, Remote Maestro. It's okay. Spanish names in general they sell okay now, but don't sell nearly as well as obviously English. So this is like a pure brandable. For me, it's the kind of name that I would want to list on like a squad help, and then hope someone like stumbles into it and sees, you know, the logo associated with it and kind of like falls in love with the brand. So it could sell, but I mean, I don't love that one. So my favorite ones would be Green Masks and Medicine Passport.
Okay, thanks. Jason, anything in there that piques your interest? I'll share the screen.
Well, the one thing that I was thinking about the green mask is, you know, obviously masks are huge right now, and at some point, you know, they're going to start becoming an issue because everybody's got dozens of them, and the disposal of these are going to accumulate. The disposable ones. I'm surprised that we haven't seen that become, you know, an issue with, actually, biodegradable or, you know, that kind of thing. So I think that there's a potential there for something along those lines. I know that a lot of companies will put out products that they consider to be green. In other words, better for the environment in general. So I think that I think there's a chance there. I think I like Remote Maestro because what Roman said of the Spanish mix, you know, remote is big right now, but also Maestro we use it for like conductor, and there's a lot of stuff going on with musicians collaborating remotely, and so I could potentially see it being something for that. So I think that of the ones on the list, I think my favorites are Remote Maestro and Green Masks.
Okay. And Kate, I'm guessing if somebody came to you with these domains, you'd be like, no, not quite in my sort of price range. But are any of them there that kind of pique your interest as better than the other ones, or something that you could see maybe peaking into 5 figures?
I actually really liked Jason's reasoning on this. Like for Remote Maestro, my grandmother is very heavily involved in music. Like back in the day, she sang with the Philharmonic and this and that. And she keeps sending me these amazing musical productions all done via remote. So I do think that I agree with Jason, that's a really fun use case for Remote Maestro. Green masks is interesting. Obviously, masks are quite timely, as is everything green. And yet, so when you think about, to me, green is green jobs. It's green for cannabis. It's green for finance or fintech. It's not for clothing or personal accessories. So like green mask to me is a mask that's actually the color green. In fact, if you search the term green mask, that's what comes up. A bunch of Kelly green masks.
Green Lantern, right? Or something. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So when I think of that term within, the use case of an actual face mask, I think of eco mask, organic mask, like, right. So I like it. I don't love it because of that.
Okay. Well, some of you are probably guessing. I've seen in the chat. Full disclosure, yeah, those are my domains. I wanted to warm things up with, and Josh is kind of right there in that. Yeah, they're all stuff I grabbed at closeout, and yeah, and this is the type of stuff I sell all the time for 2, 3, 4K. I'd probably price them a little bit more aggressively than some of the guys said, but not much more. Like mid 4 figures, and willing to go down a bit, and some of them maybe go up. I thought I saw a little bit more in eSport Awards, even if it was singular, but yeah, I said it wrong when I started, so maybe not. And yeah, Remote Maestro. I thought remote, like Maestro, was a kind of an English word now. It's got pretty common usage in English, Maestro, even if it has a Spanish base. But anyhow, on that note, we'll speed things along because here we go. I'll get this share screen up properly. So this is the real portfolio number 1, unlike the other one, which was mine. So yeah, portfolio number 1 includes Spotted Fawn, Polyforms, Spotted Fawn, again, it's all.com. Sorry about that. SpottedFawn.com, Polyforms.com, surplusinvest.com, and haccpservices.com. So go ahead, guys, and tell me what you think about those ones. I guess I'll Josh, why don't you start? You're on top there on my screen.
Yeah, so I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Is there any one that you like better than the others?
Polyforms.com? Is that like, if that's something? Feels like it might be something. I feel like that might be something, but I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. Surplus Invest maybe is nah. For me, I don't know, but I do. Like, what is HACCP? What is that?
That's actually what I want to know. And that what I liked about having this interactive is I could, oh wait, maybe not, get the person who owns the portfolio online, and he is not here right now. If you are here, put your hand up. We've got a lot of people in this room right now, more than usual. And I guess not. So we will continue on with Roman. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, just like to finish things off, my advice would be to go back to the drawing board there. I don't see enough value.
Yeah.
I don't see enough value there compared to like what's coming available every day. There's probably around, I don't know, 1,500 to 2,000 names every day that are like pretty good that drop. So yeah.
Okay. Jason, your mic is off. Go for it. Tell us what you think on that one.
My mic is off or on?
Oh, it's on. No, it's on. Sorry, your mute is off. Sorry.
I was like, it's
your
off.
Mute is off. You look like you're about to talk.
Okay.
Any thoughts on this one?
The one that stood out to me, and I don't know, I can't figure out what it would be a brand for, but I don't hate Spotted Fawn. I think it sounds kind of cool. I can't think of a use case right off, but as brandables go, I certainly see things that I think are personally are worse on some of the brandable marketplaces. So I could deal with that one. I think like Josh said, until we know what HACCP is, I don't think that anybody can really evaluate that one because I have no idea what it is. Unless it's something really big in some part of the world that I'm unaware of, I'm probably not going to like it. And then Polyforms, I think, I don't know what it is, but if it's something, I think the singular is going to be better. So I think that's probably not one I would renew. And then Surplus Invest, I kind of want to like it, but I don't. I wish. And trust me, I have a portfolio that I probably have 100 names that are very similar to these that I probably have similar feelings for now that I bought 18 months ago and renewed, 6 months ago. And now I'm like, why did I buy it? And why did I renew it? So I'm in the same boat with you, but you just have to learn. You have to move forward and learn from things that you buy and see what happens with them and then and get better as you go.
Yeah. And what are you, Kate? Is spotted fawn exotic enough to make it have much value, or?
I think it's cute, and cute is good in branding. And in fact, there's a photography company and a production company branded on spotted fawn. So don't discount cute. Is it worth a lot? No. Is it worth something? Yeah, companies are branding on it. Yeah. Polyforms is the other one that I thought wasn't awful. So polyforms are like planes and mathematics joined together. So it could be like for and generally they are referred to in the plural versus the singular. It's one of those, off chance use cases where the plural is actually better. So I don't know, could it be an algebra club or a puzzle constructor site, or I don't know. Again, is it worth a lot? No. Is it worth something to someone? Sure.
Yeah. All right. So here, somebody in the chat actually just wrote, HACCP is a management system in which food safety is addressed through the analysis and control of biological, chemical, and physical hazards. So I guess, yeah, if it's something plus services, it probably has, some value.
Sure.
That share.
Yeah.
Roman, any thoughts?
Are people bidding for that acronym in Google? Because that would be a determination of value.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Roman, any thoughts on this one?
No, I would just have to concur with my panelists.
Yeah.
I do like polyforms. Don't know what it is. Spotted fawn. It does sound cute. It doesn't have that much value, but it does sound cute. If I had a large domain inventory of, let's say, 3,000-4,000 names, these would be names that I wouldn't renew. If I have a smaller one, I would keep spotted fawn as well as polyforms. Those are the two I would keep if I had a smaller domain inventory.
I like animal names, and obviously, the traditional sort of the big sort of combination is always known as the color plus animal, and they're all mostly gone. But I do like it when there's something quirky or unusual. Like spotted fawn. Spotted probably wouldn't work for a lot of animals, but fawn, yeah, it's got something to it. I don't know if there actually are spotted fawns, but I can still picture it as something. As a brand, but okay. So on that,
spotted whale sold for 1,500 for what it's worth.
Wow.
Spotted whale. .com.
Okay. Yeah.
Arif, what's my surface saying that HACCP gets 27K searches in the U.S. and it's 2.1. It's $2.17.
Oh.
So that probably has some hidden value there that we didn't really pick up on, not being familiar with the acronym.
Yeah, and services sounds like a boring, suffix, but it's pretty broad. It covers a lot of businesses. So, Josh, you're going to say something, or?
No, yeah, I was just agreeing with what Jason said. There's some value there if there's some search volume. It's still it's not exact because it's got services on the end. So, right, it would be a lot more valuable if it was just the acronym.
Yeah.
But it's still a trust. If that's something that someone's searching for, it's certainly a trustworthy domain. So I think it has value there.
All right. So on that note, we'll speed things along to the next portfolio, which includes enticing.com, walletology.com, perfect.com, iFi, like AIFY.com, and easyfashion.com. In this portfolio, there was one domain in particular that I think our superstar 6- and 7-figure broker, I thought maybe might fall into her range. Kate, did you have any thoughts on enticing.com?
Sadly, I don't find it all that enticing. Sorry. I love a good pun, or a bad one. Actually, that was kind of bad. Yeah, I mean, we've talked in other panels and other shows about that. I don't hate gerunds. I really don't. I think that there are some great ones out there. We've talked about my sales of sleeping and snoring. I'm brokering seeing right now. You know, and there's been some great ones that other people have sold. So, but this one, again, I like it. I don't love it. There are companies branded on it. LinkedIn has 31 results for a search of enticing under companies. So, you know, I mean, it's not awful, but, you know, it wouldn't be my first, if I were, you know, working on a branding project for a company and they said, hey, I want to be called enticing something, something, I would really have a conversation with them about the wisdom of that idea.
Okay, and for those wondering, gerund means with the ing at the end, so it's the verb sort of with an ing at the end, which traditionally in domains seems like it's, you know, one word, but it's not as strong as usually the non-gerund version, which I don't know what that would be called, but anyhow. Any thoughts on the other ones, like perfect or something like that? You're the woman here, so when a perfect sounds like a perfect for her or something.
Perfect sounds like a disease. Sorry, kind of does. My two favorites are enticing. Even though I like it, don't love it, I still like it. I still think it's a solid name. One of the companies that popped up on LinkedIn is Enticing Events. I think that's a nice use case. It's just tough. It's very narrow. Another one of the names that I like in this sub portfolio is Walletology. It's, you know, it's a mouthful, but it's fun. You know, I think you could easily spin up a great brand story to go along with it. I can already see the visuals, and, you know, it's long, it's clunky, it's a little, again, like it, don't love it, but it's interesting. It definitely caught my eye in this portfolio.
Yeah, in a recent domain social, there was myself and another person who within the same week sold ology domains, you know, for nice mid four figures. So yeah, the ologies, they seem to work. What do I see, guys? Roman, any thoughts on this portfolio?
I actually love it. You know, I think it's a pretty solid portfolio. My favorite is the AIFIY, what have you. I look at it as artificial intelligence for you.
Oh,
that's how I look at it. So I know there's some value down the road for that. So that's why I do like that. Walletology is my second favorite. I can see that being used in the Forex, you know, sector, cryptocurrency, virtual wallets, something in that space. So I definitely like that. Easy fashion, that's amazing, right? Fashion, that's a pretty solid keyword. Easy as well. So you add both of them together, I think that goes a long way. So I'm pretty bullish on these 5 domain names for sure.
Yeah, Jason, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I would have a spot in my portfolio for all 5 of these. I've sold one that was very similar to Perfect. I sold Secret, like secret, but with she. And I don't remember what I sold it for, but it was profitable. And I mean, enticing. I think you know, I think what Kate said about, like, if there's an events company, I think that's a great use. I think that it's not a. I don't think it's a. If it's a 5-figure name, it's a low 5-figure. I don't think you're not getting into mid 5 figures with this name, but I think you could find a business that could use it and would pay up for it. So, you know, I do like it. And then I love easy names and easy fashion. I mean, those seem to go together. You know, it's not going to be a high-end brand, but it's going to be, that to me just sounds like something for people that want, like, good looking business clothes or something along those lines. I think it could definitely work for that. And I love ology names. Sold several of them, and I think Walletology, you know, you got several uses there. You could actually, you know, do an online store where you sell physical wallets. You could do crypto wallets. You know, any number of things along those lines. It could even be like a financial services type business. So I think it's a little bit wide open there. And then And then, you know, the AIFY, AIFI, or however you want to say it. I like that. I think, I mean, I'm strong on, you know, I'm long on 4-letter, and especially if it's something that you can kind of pseudo pronounce, or you can see a brand around it instead of just like a bunch of really bad non-Western characters strung together in no particular order. Something like that. I mean, I could see some of my branding on it, artificial intelligence related. So, like I said, I like all of these.
All right. And Josh, what about you? Do you see any more value in enticing than the? I mean, like I do, but
It has the most wholesale value of all of names.
Yeah.
On
on the retail side.
So just for comps, refreshing.com 13K, euphoric.com 13K.
On wholesale or retail?
No, that's what they sold for.
But on a wholesale venue or a retail venue?
Retail.
I really.
So I think Jason mentioned low 5 figures. So I mean, I think that's kind of consistent to what we're talking about, right?
Josh, what would you price it at?
Enticing.com, probably 35K range. With the assumption that I would never sell it.
Really?
Yeah, like probably on that one. It's probably a name that I would end up looking to, like, for me personally, it's probably a name I would end up flipping or in the wholesale market, because the wholesale market for that name is better than the retail market. So you could not what I mean by that is like the delta, right? Yeah. So like I think you could probably get like $2,500 to $3,000 for that name pretty comfortably, fairly comfortably. But it's one of those names that never ever like very rarely sells at retail, and when it does, it's kind of in that low teens, like Roman just said. Sometimes I think the market improved a lot recently, so I would say that it would probably, people are more willing to spend like 25-35K on that type of name now. So yeah, I mean that one's got the most value, but it's not the one that I would necessarily want to put in my portfolio.
Which one is that?
Well, I think that I could get a better value versus retail. Better wholesale buy versus the retail upside on a name like AIFY. I would hope to purchase a name like that for, again, probably in the like 1,500 to 2,000 range, maybe a bit more. But then I would be looking for like 50K on that type of name. And then I like Easy Fashion. I think Easy Fashion is like an easy sell under 10K at some point. Yeah. So I like that name. I'd probably price it at like 9,995, offer a payment plan up to maybe like 12, 24 months. That's a good name. And then Perfect is like, I kind of agree with Kate. It kind of doesn't sound right to me. However, it is another name that has wholesale value, and it would probably sell in the hundreds of dollars at wholesale, and I think I would be pricing it at like $4,000 to $5,000 at retail. So like even that, I don't like it, but it has value. And then finally, Walletology. I want to like it. I really do. And I think, and again, I would put it in my portfolio. Wallet is a little bit like there's too many syllables for the ology to work as well as I would like. I own some ology names. I own teamology.com, and I've had a lot of interest for that. I've had low 5-figure offers on that one in the past. So I like ology names as well. And I think that name actually has a good chance at selling at retail, but from like a branding perspective, I like outside of domains, I don't love it.
Okay.
But I do think that it has a good chance in selling in the kind of 10K. 10K wouldn't be unreasonable for that name.
All right. Well, Amar in the chat, he offered 5K for one of them. I'm going to assume it might be enticing, yeah. But we could say maybe he offered it for
Amar's offering 5K.
Yeah, he confirmed it's for enticing. Yeah. All right, so somebody can make a sale right now.
So yeah, maybe we'll see what happens. I don't know. If
Wait, which one? Amar is offering 5K for enticing.com?
correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Got it, got it, got
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly. So
appreciate you
that
wanna
one's the one.
I actually,
yeah.
I actually want to push back on something the gentlemen were saying about easy fashion. I didn't comment on that one. And this is why I think it's important to have diverse viewpoints on your portfolio across ages, across obviously gender, what have you, across the board. So when women think of fashion, they don't think easy fashion. It just doesn't work. So it just doesn't.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But it could be for men. It could be for men.
Yeah, but really, you're a dude. You're gonna click on easy fashion as a dude when you're shopping. You're not. And as a woman, you definitely are not. Like think CoverGirl, easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl. She can get away with it because she's beautiful and breezy, and there's that stunning image. You can't get away with easy fashion. You just can't.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So
fair
Kate,
enough.
so can I just jump in? Can I jump in?
Go for it, Roman.
So when I was thinking about that with easy fashion, I was actually thinking about it in this current environment, right? The COVID environment and how difficult it is to do shopping.
Yeah.
So in that respect, easy.
Yeah. Well,
Could you give me any legs with that, Kate?
Maybe if it was easyshopping.com, that's different.
Yeah. I like
Why
it
not?
also for like who is it? Is it Morgan Linton who has the company that has like where you put in like six variables and it picks your size like really easy? I don't know. I'm going on a stretch. Anyways, we're falling behind schedule, so I will. Jason, you had one final thought on this one?
Well, I was just going to say, after hearing Kate's comments, I think easy fashion is where men go to buy presents for their significant other.
And what's next?
Probably not where the women go to buy.
Jason for the win.
Yeah.
I'm all about easy fashion. It's all about easy for me. You can be if you put a decent word and you put easy in front of it, I'm all about that because I like things easy. And if you're telling me that I can have something that I like easy, I'm all about that.
Yeah, and I think it's Adam Strong Inc. I'm guessing it's him. He just bid 6,000. So I think we'll probably get a few more offers in that one. But anyhow, so yeah, we are running a little bit behind. So I will get things forward a little bit. And the next portfolio is a smaller one. It's bitcoinloan.net, callrecorder.org, and paythetax.com. Let's see, who can we start with on this one?
That third one is miserable, isn't it?
Pay the tax. You got to pay the tax, though. You got to pay them.
Don't put that name in my portfolio.
What do you guys think of that one? Jason, you start this one.
I think that there's probably some value in bitcoinloan.net. I mean, it's possible that actually generates revenue in parking. So I would hope that if that would be maybe even a traffic domain, but I think it's going to be a big enough thing to where the .net will have some value, and .net kind of fits with crypto better than it does in some other areas. So of the three, that is gonna be my favorite. And I'm still not saying I love it, but I probably wouldn't kick that one out of my portfolio. Whereas I'm not sure that I get the other two. .orgs are very tricky. I've only sold a handful, and the ones I've sold seem to have had oddly a political bent to them. And I don't see where call recorder in a .org makes sense to me. So, it's if it were callrecorder.com, I'd probably like it, but I just don't see the fit with the .org. And then, I pay the tax. I mean, what are you going to put on that? I mean, I don't think that I don't think the government's looking for tax payment processors. I think they want to keep that in house, and if they were, I don't know that they would brand on pay the tax.
Well,
So
I don't know. We'll ask Kate how much the seller of engage.com had to pay in taxes. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, anything enticing in this one?
I like what you did there.
Just for you.
Tamar, Adam, are you listening? Is that bidding it up anymore? Can I get a 7,000? Yeah, I don't love these names for the reasons mentioned. I would agree with that reasoning. The only thing that I think, and this is a Hail Mary, but if you like were able to sort of brand some, like what else could be the tax other than actual Uncle Sam tax?
Oh yeah. I know what you're saying.
Or wherever
like,
you live, right?
Like
What
Pay
could
the Piper type of thing where it's
totally
meaning, yeah.
right? What is there a way to flip that from a branding standpoint? What could the tax be that it could be fun? And I would see this more of a as a campaign, certainly not as a standalone brand platform, but it could be a funny campaign for a brand. So I mean, that's my Hail Mary thought on that one.
Okay, great. Roman, any thoughts?
I don't have a strong affinity to these domains, to be honest.
Okay. Is there one in particular you like most? Or?
Yes, bitcoinloan.net.
Yeah.
Bitcoinloan.com sold for $2K, which I think that's I think you could sell it for more than that. So the .net, I would keep. I'm okay with that, but outside of that, don't have a good affinity for these three names.
Fair enough. All right. So we'll again, we're a little bit behind schedule, and we do have a hard stop at 6:30 Eastern. So I will continue on with the next portfolio, which might trigger a couple of memories of some people. The domains are gabber.com, foxa.com, newswithaz.com, rambo.com, Anthony.com, and rosewithaz.com. News also is with a Z at the end, just for those of you listening in. Any thoughts on this one? Yeah, go for it, Roman. Yeah, okay. So, okay.
I mean, it's a very, 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 very solid list of domains. I like first names, or last names. That's kind of what I'm trying to specialize in now. So the Anthony.com is something I really like.
Yeah.
Rambo is the last name as well, and obviously over the in the 80s, the various movies with Rambo. That's solid. News with the Z. If you don't have the S, the Z goes a long way. So I like that. Gabber, that's very pronounceable, with 6 letters, quite brandable. Foxa, I guess it's 4 letters, so obviously it would be more preferable than 6.
Yeah.
I like news.com, great play on the words, news. So I think it's very, pretty solid list of domains.
All right. Josh, look like you're about to if you want to jump in. Thoughts?
No, you skipped me on the last one, so I got nothing to jump in.
Yeah.
All over. No, I'm just joking. I don't like Riz's names. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I mean, I gotta tell you, just typos everywhere I look. I don't know. Nah, Riz, you got some. I think you might have some decent names there. But I'm not sure. I can't really say much other than they're obviously all decent, valuable names. They all have pretty high wholesale values. Obviously, one of them, 2 of them have been sold already. But which ones? Rose.com and news.com sold, right? So, I mean, I personally never really liked the Z in replace of the S. Personally, I would stay away from them, but Riz is obviously, he knows what he's doing, and he's proving that, the Z still has value. And quite frankly, they all make for pretty decent, memorable brands, right? I mean, they're not like home run 7-figure names or whatever, but, could I see, like, could news.com have sold for 100K? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could have. But he got a great price for it at 70K. Rambo.com is probably, it's a little bit too close for me because it's just, all I do is I think about, the movie, and I don't know, it just does it. I don't know. Obviously it's got value. It's got good value. And I want to like it the most out of all of the names, but it's just something not quite right for me if I was choosing a company name. So I think Anthony would be my favorite, even though I would prefer if it was spelt with an H. I think that would be my favorite name on there.
I think without the H is still, I think there's a lot.
Without the H, there's actually a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of usage without the H, a lot more than what I would have thought. The only reason why I know that is because Riz asked me about the name when, as he was buying it and what I thought the value was worth. So I already told him that I think it's valuable. So right. You don't need to hear more from me.
All right, Kate, your thoughts on this portfolio?
So names like Rambo are tough, right? And I think Josh was starting to talk about that a little bit. Yes, it is a surname. However, it has already been stolen by the movie franchise. You can't get it back. I mean, maybe you can in a couple generations, when our kids and grandkids and great-grandkids are like, Rambo, who? What are you talking about? But for now, that they've already planted their flag in that ground, and I think it would be really tough to effectively brand a company on Rambo.com. So for that reason, even though it has solid search volume, but we know why it has solid search volume, I would probably stay away from that one.
I was personally thinking that it could be used more for supplements or something where you want that imagery. But I guess, I don't know.
Maybe. But anyway, hey, congrats on the sales of Days and Rose. That's super cool. Well done. I also like Anthony. Globally, Anthony is a solid name. In the US, we use more Anthony, but Anthony is a solid global name. And I could absolutely see a company building a brand on that. So I also like that one.
Okay. Jason.
Yeah, solid portfolio. I think, I think Riz does great across the board. I think he did great with News and Rose. I agree with the other panelists. I think Anthony is great. I share their concerns about Rambo, but I think that it's one that will sell. I think that there's going to be somebody that wants to, kind of like you said with the supplements, somebody, and they're probably going to be male, is going to will buy that thinking it's a good idea for something that they're doing. Yeah. So I don't hate it. I think I think at some point it will sell. I don't think it's going to
sell for how much?
I think I'm seeing like 25 to 35K. I don't think you can push that a lot higher than that. I have no idea what the acquisition cost is on it either. So that might not make sense, but I think that at some point somebody will take that off your hands, Riz. And then the other one that we really haven't talked about is Gabber. And with Gab being an alternative social network, I think that's going to be a hard one to find a home for. And yes, it's a eclectic or kind of subgenre of electronic music as well, but it's not used by people that are going to have the money to pay what you're going to need to sell that for to brand on it. So at some point, Gab is a solid word, and it's kind of like what Kate was saying about Rambo. It's been co-opted by a product that is somewhat infamous, and you're going to have a hard time overcoming that hurdle to get somebody to brand on Gabber in another way. Yeah. So, but there again, it could be a 5-year hold, and Gab could die down, and nobody will remember it. It'll go the way of whatever preceded MySpace, Friendster, or whatever it is. I think you're probably about to the point where you could recycle Friendster on something new.
And there'd be a bias for domainers because we know the story of Gab with the whole changing of the registrar and all that stuff.
I just want to say one thing. Rambo, if it wasn't for the movie, is a six-figure name, but because of that, it's significantly less. Like, and I agree with Jason on, like, if you're gonna sell it, you've got to price it in like that low five-figure range. But like, it's still a valuable name. But I just wanted to kind of echo what Jason was saying. Like, if you want to sell it, and eventually, I think you've got to sell it cheaper than what, you know, a name with those kind of stats would usually sell for.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Adam Strong in the chat said you could also be for a knife brand or a gun maker brand. But yeah, so anyways, I pulled, thanks to this format, I pulled up Riz. Riz is the owner of this portfolio. And Riz, congratulations. When you contacted me, you had sold one of them right around that time. And then I think since then I saw on Twitter you sold a second one. So what's up with that? How did that go?
They happen day after day, you know. Like when I sold rose.com, after next day I sent you the list for the panelist.
Yeah.
So same day I sold the news.com.
Wow. Did you release how much that was sold for, or
which one?
Either of them. I don't want to necessarily, I'm not sure which are public or not. I'll let you say it.
The news.com, actually I was negotiating with the buyer, but didn't know that he will be agreed on my price, you know. But eventually, after I sent you the email for the panelists, and I got the email that they have agreed to the price and they are paying. So they paid to Rob Monster, and then it was done.
Oh, through Epic Escrow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do any of you on the panel have any questions for Riz about what he thought the value in one of the domains was, or anything?
How do you find his buyers? I don't know if he mentioned that earlier.
No, for rose.com, it's a Chinese guy. It was, but till yet it's not clear like what was the purpose. But one thing I would like to share, that this buyer who bought rose.com, he offered me 10 domains, CVCV, nice quality CVCV to me. So it looks like that he was a domain investor. I don't know. But as long he offered me 10 domains, he owned 10 good CVCV domains. So I think he was a domain reseller or what, but we never know till yet. But it's Chinese.
Okay.
I bought it from Chinese. I sold it to Chinese.
Okay.
So Riz, one more question for you. You've sold several domains for, you know, pretty significant amounts. Do you ever go back to the buyer and provide them a list of additional domains that you have for sale? Is that something you've used?
No, never,
far?
never,
Okay.
ever.
And the reason why not, or you never thought about it?
Unless I know that the domain buyer is a reseller and keep buying the domains. Otherwise, if it's an end user, I don't go back to them.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks, Riz. We're unfortunately, we're really tight in time, but we're gonna definitely get you back on in the socials and a future panel to get all the secrets you have in the future. Thanks a lot for sharing. All right.
All right. I would like to, for sure.
Take care. Eh? All right.
All right.
So, sorry about that. So we'll move on to the next. Here we go. All right. So next up we have. We'll share here. So there are four domains in this fifth portfolio: kilotrim.com, sharebuys.com, and then two .co.uk's. So party with an i.co.uk and coolmath.co.uk. So I will unshare there and get your opinions on that. Who wants to start on this one? Jason, why don't you start?
Okay. To be quite honest, I have no idea about the .co.uk. I don't know if brandables work in that extension. If brandables work in .co.uk like they work in .com, then I think those are two good names. I want to say that Cool Math might be treading in some UDRP waters, because I think there was a Cool Math games that went really large at some point. So I would, And when you've got the word in there like that, you can't really use that for something else. A lot of times you're going to have a hard time clawing out your own lane in the trademark area. So if that's the case, that makes me not like it as much. As far as the 2.coms, kilo trim, I mean, I can see that being a decent 4-figure brandable for some kind of weight loss product, somewhere where they use the metric system, unlike we do here in the U.S. I don't think it's going to make sense in a U.S. market, clearly. And then share buys. I mean, I've got a portfolio full of names like this, and those are the things that I get for closeout prices or discount drops. Maybe if the numbers look really good, I might pay full price on a drop for that. Or even, if it goes to auction, bid once or twice, but I'm probably not buying a sharebuys.com for, anywhere even mid 3 figures, just because I can find something better for a similar price. But I think it's probably going to sell for $1,500 to $3,500. And there might be some greater upside than that if you don't mind holding it, or you don't mind entertaining a bunch of lower offers and spending the time negotiating the price up. I tend to do buy it now under 5,000, and you either like it or you don't. You pull the trigger or you don't, and then we and so I don't get into negotiations that start out at $800, $900, and then I manage to work them up to 6,000. So that might be a space that this portfolio owner works in, and they're able to get a little more than that for it.
All right. Sorry, Josh, as the resident guy with a British accent, are your thoughts on .co.uk?
No, I echo everything I think Jason is probably explained it all pretty well there. I don't know the .co.uk market very well, but I don't think those have much value.
And the other two?
Sorry?
And the other two, the kilotrim.com and sharebuys.com?
Yeah, I don't think either of those have much value. I think that they would either they might get purchased in a discount back order, but I think that they might go all the way through.
Okay. Kate, Roman, any thoughts on this one?
No, agree with Jason.
Yeah. Okay. Kate, same thing? Or?
Yep, ditto.
Okay. So we're moving along now. So next one up is portfolio number K, because I want to take a brief intermission and take real advantage of the fact that Kate is here to talk a little bit about why she is my hero this year for selling a 2word.com for 6 figures. So Kate, greenstreet.com, what's up? How did that happen?
Well, first of all, don't hate on the 2word.coms. There's some great ones out there that routinely sell for six, 7 figures. So I've sold a number of them this year. This year was a big year for 2word.coms. On Green Street, I apologize to anyone who has heard me talk about this previously. I think I did talk about it a little bit on a Domain Sherpa episode. I did. So if you caught that, this is time for your coffee break for everyone else. So I really credit this sale to a patient client. It's a lot easier for me to do my job when I have patient clients who take a collaborative approach. And this client did. He said, look, I really want to maximize value on this, so I'm willing to wait and let you do your thing. I don't want to flip. I don't want to fire sale. I have a different philosophy than a lot of brokers. I, for better or worse, am committed to extracting as much value as humanly possible on each domain. I treat each domain like it is mine, and I will fight to the death for it. So, you know, I don't know that that's always in my best interest. I probably should just be like, sure, that's a little above reserve. We're going to take it and move on to the next. But I'm just not wired that way.
Yeah.
So when the client said, hey, go do your thing, it gave me a lot of latitude. I saw the value from day one because, you know, we talked a little bit about the term green with green mask. This, in my mind, Green Street is one of its best and highest use case, right? So you've immediately got entree into the cannabis world. You immediately have entree into the fintech world and savings and investing, and even real estate investing, especially real estate investing, because that's who bought it.
Okay.
But, you know, Wall Street, Green Street. So, you know, basically I knew who should buy it. The CEO didn't agree. Then he left and I pitched the new CEO and he bought it. That's the short story.
Nice. Do you guys have any questions?
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
Because I just want to say that, you know, you sounded, you know, quite shocked at the sale price, but like from a wholesale standpoint, Green Street is like a 15 to 20K name at least. Like I would have paid 15K for that name.
Really?
So yeah. And like before, I was telling you, like, you know, we're talking about 5 or 6K for enticing.com. Green Street is a much better name.
Huh. You want to buy green masks? 15K, 14K.
But is there 259 company results in LinkedIn for green masks with, you know, multiple big companies that, you know, have a lot of money?
I didn't check, but I'll give it to you for 13K.
Yeah, but, you know, I need 1,000 for each company.
All right.
You know, and I think green mask is going to have like 0, so you get 0 thousands.
Yeah. Roman, Jason, do you have any questions on that sale or?
No, I mean, I love to
Just congratulations.
Yeah.
Congrats. And I hope that the strong 2-word .coms continue to hold their value like that, because I have a lot of them.
Well, yeah, that's like 90% my portfolio. That's why I was like, oh. But Kate, you mentioned a few other 6-figure 2-word .coms this year. Anything you're allowed to share, or is it all?
Hold on, let me look up what I can talk about and what I can't, and I'll keep it very brief because I know we're tight on time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's a couple I'll throw out really quickly that I can talk about. I bought creativeedge.com for a client, obviously on the buy side. In addition to Green Street, I sold codereview.com. And that, I can't, never mind. I can't tell you the price.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, I can't tell you the price. I just sold it. That's all I can tell you.
That's a great
but it was a great price. That's all I can say. Homefinance.com, sold that. And those are all I can talk about. Sorry.
All right, fair enough. All right, and as you said, we have to get rolling, so we will do that. Next portfolio up is some interesting new GTLDs. The domains are more.money, advertising.works, debt.support, sports, plural for you guys who wanted the plural before, .show, and phone.sale. So, who has any thoughts on that? Josh, there's the sports with an S. Is that is that better than sport? I'll put it up again.
You're gonna make me do this, huh? I see these as currently liabilities because there's no demonstrated value that I can see. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't value that I don't see. I'm not a new GTLD investor. So
okay.
I know that a lot of deals are done privately and very few things get reported in the .com world. So I'm sure there is a lot of stuff done privately on the new GTLD side that doesn't get reported as well. But I'm not privy to that information. And for that reason, I see no market and hence I see no value. So I'm not a good person to comment on this.
All right. Jason, you've had a few non.com sales. Maybe we'll we'll get your opinion on these.
Well, I have, but the ones that I've done have typically been repurposed CCTLDs.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, I do not believe I've sold any new GTLDs. When I'm evaluating something like this, I have to look at it and think, okay, what would these two words be worth if it were the .com? So moremoney.com, I would love. So that means that I don't hate this one. Advertising works, I would like less than, so I can kind of put them in order, but I can't say for sure that they have significant value or that I would even renew them, because especially without knowing the renewal price of some of these TLDs. But of these, I would say that More Money and Sports Show, if the renewals are reasonable, and by reasonable I mean roughly what a .com is, maybe $25 or less, I would probably keep More Money and Sports Show if you told me I needed to keep at least one. Those two I could probably see keeping.
Fair enough.
I just don't see a lot of value. I agree with Josh. I don't think that the market exists for these. Or if it does, I'm not privy to it. But
all right. Roman, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah. Although they're not hacks, I guess, they seem like they're hacks, with the way that they're constructed. The way I look at this is there is a good amount of value for the end user and pretty much zero value for the domainer. And what I mean is, if you are an end user and you get a hold of sports.show, I think that's a fantastic domain that you can market if you are an individual that goes, around the country and you promote sports card conventions. That'd be really nice. You could put it on a billboard, great word of mouth, radio test, that whole sort of thing. So there's tremendous value there. But as a domainer, I mean, it's pretty difficult to, hold on to something like that and then even find the correct buyer. I mean, if you can figure out a way to provide a vision of what this can be to the correct person at the correct time, at the correct price, then it'll be good, So that's the complexity of these sort of, these types of domains.
Yeah, I think with NGTLDs, it's time, right? I mean, as awareness goes up, these domains will be worth a little bit more. Like I didn't even know there was .money, but I like more .money. I like sports.show. But again, it's time, I think it is. And my question to you, Kate, is: has anybody successfully managed to get you to broker anything that's not a .com yet?
No.
Or, no, because you won't pick the phone, or you'll it's just the right one hasn't come up yet, or.
Well, I don't normally quote the Reagans, but in this case, I'll just say no.
All right.
I love Nancy.
All right, fair enough. All right, I think we have time. We got one.
Kate, would you broker code.io?
Would I broker code.io?
Like if that was presented to you,
I'd buy it.
Code CODE.
I've got a couple .ios in my portfolio.
I know you do. That's why I know you do. That's why I was thinking, like, if someone came to you with one of like the best .io names, would you consider taking that to market?
Anything is possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Please don't start sending me .io names, please. Let me just say that. Sorry, I have to get that in there. Don't do it. Except for Josh.
Sorry.
Right, so I think this will probably be the last one. If we go through it very quick, we might have time for one more. It's just one domain. It's vaccinesearch.com. So very pertinent, very today. Do you guys, especially with there being multiple types of vaccines out there, what are your thoughts?
I like vaccine research better. .com.
Well, yeah. Well,
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
To me, it's just the domain. This particular one, my opinion.
To me, I would think vaccine research. There's only a few brands out there that do it, and they don't really need the descriptive. Whereas vaccine search, I mean, as I said, there's going to be like 5 different vaccines for COVID, and probably more than that. Maybe people will be searching. I don't know. Jason, what do you think?
I don't like. I mean, I can't see what the use would be. I mean, if you, I don't even like the phrasing of it. It's just search with vaccine. You know, a medical company, a pharmaceutical company is not going to brand on it. They're not going to market on it. I wouldn't think. I mean, maybe, but I mean, right at this point, you know, we're pretty much to the point of already having the vaccines for COVID, which is probably what prompted the registration of this. You know, are you waiting for the next pandemic to have somebody want to blog about the search for a vaccine? I just don't see a use for it. I don't think it has a lot of value.
I personally, I'm not at all anti-vax, but it's also like there's so many different types coming out. I'm kind of like, well, which one do you wait for? Which one do you get? I thought there was a little bit of use there. Josh, you look like you either really agree with me or you really don't agree with me.
No. I there was no look, just my normal look, and it's you know, I agree with everyone else. I see no value.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I see it as a, you know, a 2K domain. You know, like it's not like a out of the ballpark, but I mean, I make sales on domains like this, and I'm a profitable domainer, so it's not you know, big fancy sales, but yeah. Kate, did you no? Any thoughts? No, but
I think you know what I think.
No, I don't mean in terms of a case sale, but do you see somebody actually using this? Like, do you see even somebody buys it for 1K? Do you see somebody?
Yeah, you know, okay, so that's an interesting point. And I hear you, like, how do I find out research on the different vaccines, which, you know, efficacy rate, side effects, which we actually don't even know. We really don't know very much about that end of things, but that's a completely different topic. So could it be safevaccine.com, right? Or, you know, something that to me that would be a little more intuitive than vaccine search, then you can maybe argue that there's a use case there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, well, but that's my bread and butter, like the 2word.coms that are in that, you know, 4-figure range. That, you know, it's not, you're not going to have a high sell-through rate in this one. Like, I mean,
how does it get used? How does it get used? Like, what's the use? Like, what's the business behind it?
Like I said, you have you have advertising for the different vaccines, and you have a comparison site.
Yeah, but that's good. So Google.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you know, there's a lot of sites like that.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know,
it's
you
not.
Want to take on the search engine industry with vaccine search.
I think right now you could. You won't make tons, but you need a small fraction of what's coming up. No, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you. Maybe like maybe you could do something like, you know, what vaccinations are available for your kids. Obviously I've had kids very recently, so I know that there's all of these vaccines that are involved, and you don't have to get all of them. And you know, there's a lot of people that have more and less, and some that have none at all. So maybe there's some kind of like list to show you, but like in that scenario, it's a hobby project, and so it still has, you know, limited value in my eyes. But and then that's like a really like niche thing that, you know, is someone going to go out and get really passionate about to build a business around that? I don't know.
So if you, assuming that the use case is there to compare vaccines of any kind, is this going to just reek of authority when you're searching for a site to do that? I don't even think it does that. So if the use case is even valid, I don't think this is the right name for it. So I think it's just too much of a long shot. There's too much going against this name.
All right. So we're almost at the end here. What I'm going to do is there's one more person who had it right away. We're going to do a speed round. I want 30 seconds from each of you on the following portfolio. Then we can start closing things up. But like, because we have a hard stop here. So here's the final one. It's up there. It's remotealternatives.com, remotedetective.com, primarytest.com, and appliedpsychedelics.com. 30 seconds each. What are your thoughts?
Don't like them. That's my thought.
Okay.
I'm just not a big fan. Like,
Okay.
again, like they're just like marginal names, like we talked about. Like, could one of them sell at some point? Maybe, but these are names that we can all buy and register, or similar types of names. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So could it sell? Yes, but not. I'm personally not a fan.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Jason, you're right below Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh hit the nail on the head. I mean, these are the kinds of names that I'm getting at discount drops and closeouts all day long. And I have a portfolio full of them, and some of them will sell at some point. And if you have enough of them, you get enough sales to where you don't lose interest. But I mean, I don't think that if these hit GoDaddy auctions that the bidding would go over, $50 or $60. I mean, one of them, huge domains would like and would run you up to a couple hundred. But one of them would catch their algorithm right. But I don't think you could say across the board that all four of these would get run up in an expired auction. And so
that's your 30 seconds, Jason. Kate, any thoughts?
I'm going to just save time for the next segment and say I'm a pass.
All right, Roman, you're got the last 30 seconds of this review segment. Go for it.
Yeah, if I can't sell the domain for retail for $1,500, or I wouldn't want to even tag it for $1,500, then I don't want the domain.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. All right, so yeah, I'm really sorry to all of you. Some of you had like a few names that were like better than others, not better, and whatever it is. And we didn't have much time. I would try to get as many people as possible. I only put about maybe a third of all the domains submitted. So for those of you who submitted domains and didn't get them up, I'm really sorry. We'll get to you next time. Even after the show, we might stay on for a little while in after party. But we do have a hard stop in 8 minutes. So I will just, first of all, thank everybody here. I'll let everybody have a little say on what's going on in their lives and their sort of businesses. And we'll start with Kate, since you have to get home shopping soon, I think it was, right? So what's up with you? What's up with Buckley Media? I've heard of a lot of changes going on, a lot of expansion.
Yeah, thanks for asking, and thanks for having me. Since I do have to hop off, I'm just going to thank you now and thank my fellow panelists and thank all the attendees. This has been really fun. So Buckley Media has been undergoing a lot of growth this year. You can go to buckleymedia.com and click team and read about our new team members. Of course, Tess Diaz needs no mention in this community. Yeah. And Tim Hargis is a serial entrepreneur, e-commerce expert, just super cool dude, just a great, and we brought some digital experts in as well to provide a little more background on both monetizing domains and our branding projects. So we've also expanded our capabilities, which you can also see on the site. Wind this up. So as far as great domains that we're brokering right now, there are a lot of them that I am so excited about.
Some very enticing ones.
Better than enticing.
I like that one. Okay. Yeah. So
I need to buy. Yeah. Never mind. It's a whole nother conversation. So if you go, so here's the sort of hack to our portfolio under brokerage. If you go to defining.com, you can also go to buckleymedia.com/domains for sale, but defining.com, and you can see a curated selection of the premium domains currently under brokerage.
Yeah, I was curious about that because in your email signature, you had defining.com, but you kind of like sale or not. I was kind of curious, is that a potential future brand for Buckley Media, or are you keeping Buckley Media? Or
you know what? I really like options. Really like them.
So to be discussed at a later date. All right. Anything else you wanted to share? Because I think you first had to go.
Yeah, I've got to go meet the home inspector. But again, thank you for having me on, and thanks to all of you guys. This has been a lot of fun, and thanks for making domaining rock.
Yeah, great. Roman,
Thanks,
what's
Kate.
up on your end?
Sure. First of all, thank you, Arif, for setting this up. I really appreciate it. Always think it's a good avenue to kind of get together with fellow domainers. Thank you for everyone attending, the panelists. They've been awesome. I appreciate being on the stage with you guys as well. I'm currently just doing a lot of consultant work, specifically with some small businesses in the area of business process improvement, change management, Six Sigma type of work. That's some of my background. I also have a personal development company that I work with clients on improving, their personal as well as financial situation, creating game plans and that whole sort of thing. You can check out romanedmond.com if you like. What I would say is I'm an open LinkedIn network guy. So if you want, just send me an invite, I'll gladly accept. And any way I could be of service to folks, just kind of reach out. I'm very friendly, and I'm here to help. So
I can
thank you guys so
vouch
much.
for that for sure. Yeah, in the domain socials on the Fridays, you're extremely helpful and you got all kinds of really quirky tips that I never think of and are really smart.
Thank you,
Josh,
Arif.
yeah, my pleasure. Josh, what's going on with you and Josh and Josh?
There's a lot going on with me. There's a lot going on with Josh and Josh. There's just a lot going on in general. DNWE's got some really, really, really exciting changes coming. Been working closely with, quite a few people in the industry, a couple of developers working in the background, but with domain name experience. Super happy with them. I've been working really closely with Reza on some of the things that we plan to do
at Dan.com, right?
Yeah, with some of the things that we plan to do in 2021 as well, some of which are going to be like very, very, very interesting. But and then personally, I'm just doing a lot of buying and a little bit of selling. That's basically it.
As long as you got the right markups, that totally works. All right, and Jason, I know you got a busy new year with working with Michael Seiger with DNAcademy.
Yeah, very excited for that. Probably going to take up a lot of my time over the holidays and in January, getting up to speed on lesson plans and how we're going to handle that. I know Mike and I are meeting here later this week to go over some stuff. The other thing too is I don't have it pinned down when I want to do it, but I think I'm going to do another live stream over the holidays.
Oh, nice.
So
for those who missed it, with Halloween, you did a DJ stream, yeah.
Yeah, so Halloween was a lot of fun. Probably a little too much fun toward the end. I paced my apple juice drinking, basing on like a 4-hour set, and it went 7. So
as a former DJ, I've
got a little sloppy toward the end there, but I know what to plan for now, and I'm thinking New Year's Eve because I don't think a lot of people are going to be going out, and I'm probably going to be sitting at home. And if I'm going to be sitting at home, I'm going to want to be spinning. So that's what I'm planning. Keep an eye on Twitter. I'll have details if that's what works out, and hopefully we can have some of you show up and have a good time like we did on Halloween.
Perfect. Well, I know you're still available for a while, so we'll probably have an after show right now and try and get to a few more domains, maybe with some people. We'll see what's going on. But I just want to take this last 30 seconds to thank all 4 of you. I mean, I know it was a really diverse group, and the domains were really diverse. Maybe not, especially for you, Kate. I know it was you're not a specialist in it, but I'm really appreciative to your time and your perspective on your methods of selling and communicating. I wish I had more time to get into that. Maybe I'll get you on a totally different show at some point where we can get into your tips on communicating and stuff like that. But it's really appreciated. And again, Roman, all your time on the socials with all your little tricks and little tips and how to get to people and the LinkedIn stuff. And you always have little tips for something, so that's appreciated. And Jason, thank you for everything and always being around, and I see you all the time. So it's like, fellow DJs, you got to stick together. And Josh, what are you buying right now? The last 2 seconds of the show, what are you buying? Tell us all what you just bought.
No, someone just bought a mid 5-figure name on DNWE, so I was just helping out.
Perfect. And we'll end on that. So thank you again, everybody. And thanks for everybody watching on YouTube. And thanks for everybody being here. And have a great holiday season, everyone. That's it. So thanks again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Yeah. So those of you who want to stay can stay. Perfect. 6:30 exactly. And I will keep things rolling.